Okay, welcome back. Yeah, so just real quick, we're still working on the same beat here. Um, Over here, I'm pointing at this is the Tascam Porta Capture X8. So what it is it's my audio hub. I'm using the two microphones in the front to record my audio, my voice, and then I've got it coming out of the MPC over into this input here, which then takes the sounds and records it, and then goes off from there through a USB back over to my phone, and that's how I record all the stuff that I do. For that here. So as you can see, it's kind of a huge mess of wires, and you definitely get creative when you're trying to film something. And obviously, I was not creative on filming this. So back into it. So we had kind of where we left off with the kick, the other two samples that I used for the drums, and then we had an audio or a vocal, and then the bells and that. So let's see, kind of where we're at, and then kind of go from there. So what I'm going to do is just press play start. It looks like I've got two of the samples cut off here. So what I can do is let's go ahead and turn this one off, and let's just leave these two going here. Again, these two right here are one's an audio track, and then the other one's your instrument. Okay, so we got our audio and we got our bells in there. So then let's go ahead and bring this in here. It's gonna be your kick. And the other two samples. And really what's kind of cool is from the track mute right here, which you'll see I do some of my videos, is I really just kind of like playing around and figuring out how I want a track to sound, and how I would like to record it. So then if I come back in here and take the bells out but still leave this right here, then it goes. So then I can kind of figure in my head and picture kind of which direction that I want it to go. Everything that I do on this is by ear. I have zero musical background or training. I really enjoy listening to music, and that's my qualification. So, woohoo! So again, love the direction that this track is going, and it's pretty cool. So then, really what I want to do is I want to give it another track. Let's expand on this. Let's make it into something that kind of what we heard with their original sample. And I think when you bring in this right here. Now, if I was smart, I would have done it right at the start of it, but I did the sample off, so that's lame. Boo. Okay, so that's really simple to do. So I'll just click there, and then it's gonna give me the metronome to start, and so let's just go ahead and record it anyways. Okay, so now that's part of the song. So you can go back over here into your track mutes, and you can cut it off at any point in time that you want to do with it. So then you're going back to to what you've got right there. So what I'm going to do then is am going to kind of cancel out some of the stuff that's going on here and just leave a little vocal, and let's bring this one in right here. The pads. Okay, so let's go back to main. We got the the vocals on there, so let's give it another track here. We want to give it some texture. So again, for whatever reason, I muted that track because when I added the track, it was muted from. So that's why that track was muted. But if you unmute it, then you'll just go back and you start hearing the sounds again. So. Okay. Okay, so I was totally off when I first started that. So that's that's no big deal. You can erase it. You can undo, which is this button up here. That'll undo the whole track. Or you can go into the grid right here and see everywhere where it started misplacing. So it's at that one right there. So you go up to here, and man, it's yeah, it is pretty jacked up, kind of everywhere on there. So I guess maybe that's what I'll do, is I'll just undo it. Wow. Undo recorded events, just like that. All right. Okay, so I'm off on that one right there. So let's first stop that overdub there. See how there's more gap in between, that one right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight that one right there, and it's got a nudge button. And so what that nudge button does is it makes it so you can move it over, and then it becomes within timing. So automation and time corrective, there's a lot of crazy things, but when you first get going, time correct is always on, which is your friend, because it puts things in, even if you're a little bit off, it'll move it over into that position. So it really does kind of try to help you out to keep you on the timing of what the beat is. So okay, so I like that. What's going on with that. So what I'm doing is just giving it more texture. So again, if you're off on where you're doing, which again I was off on that one right there, what you're gonna do is you're gonna bring it down, you're gonna enhance it right there, which is gonna pull it up. So that way, then what you can do is you can highlight it, and then you can twist to nudge, because you want your timing to be on correct with the stuff that you're doing. So you know, really again, it's, you know, what kind of you hear in your ear and what you're, you know, kind of going for, you know, what that will determine, you know, how your track sounds in the end. Okay, so I've got, you know, a little bit more texture, you know, to the track, which is, you know, which is really nice. I might be able to throw something, you know, one additional sound on this one. Yeah. Yeah, it takes away from it. Yeah. Okay. So let's go, you know, and add another track right there. So kind of where we're standing, you know, right now. So we've got 4, 8, 10. So 8 of those tracks are going to be your drum tracks. So you know, you want to start bringing some other sounds back in, just to kind of feel like how the whole song is, you know, moving along. Okay, so you can hear how you know, everything's really starting to come together, and you know, the vocals are, you know, lining up with everything, and you know, it's just I'm really liking how it all is. So this is a great place to kind of leave this one right here, and then we'll see you know, here in the next one to continue on with this track. Hey guys, welcome back. So what I've got going on here, and just a little explanation of the equipment that I've got. So this is the Tascam Porta Capture X8. So it's got 8 inputs, and also it's got the microphone that I'm able to record my voice with, and then coming off of here is going back to my MPC. So all the audio that's coming out of the MPC is then coming into this input right here, and then from there, then it goes to this USB C that wraps around all the way back to my phone, and that's what's recording all the audio for this video. So that's the Tascam Porta Capture. This is the MPC Key 37. It's got a couple of dog hairs on it right now. And, you know, where we left off was with an audio, and then some bells, and some drums. So let's hear where we're at. So that's really nice. And sometimes, you know, I just like to listen to things, let it, you know, roll through, you know, once or twice, just to, you know, kind of have it process, and then I'll bring in the other stuff. kind of give it just a little bit more. So let's see if we can do that real quick. So again, what we're going to do is we're going to go here to the plus, and we're going to add another track, right there, which is going to give us what we want on that. So we can start recording some more audio for this track. Now, if you're kind of getting into the groove of things and you don't want to start and stop, what you can do is you can press this record overdub, and it will record any touches on your pads that you do. So that's what I'm going to do, as this is kind of rolling through. Press the overdub button again, stops the recording. We can go to my grid here and see how everything lays out. Okay, so maybe we can add something else to it. Okay, so here's another tip too. So over here underneath where it's got track mute, copy, full level. So if you go and you hit that twice, it goes to a red color right there, and then every sample will be at full volume. So it makes a big difference. So I'm going to record overdub again. So then record overdub, stops recording, go back here to the grid, see where I'm at, see if everything's lining up where I want it to line up. And so kind of how I build this stuff is I do it all by ear. So whatever sounded good, I have no musical background at all. I like to listen to a lot of music, and there's my qualification. So yeah. But really, it's if something doesn't sound right to you, then it's just a matter of going into these different tracks and figuring out which sample's off, what do you need to change, what needs to be done. So fairly easy to do once you know where you need to go to get to this type of stuff. So let's go ahead and add another track here. And I think maybe we'll give this one the vocal. How about that? So I'm going to go ahead and stop, and then I'm going to make sure that one, the blue one up here, is going to be my vocal sample. So let's go ahead and overdub, play start, and when the metronome stops, press your sample. Okay, so now that you got your vocal sample, on there, then this is the full, sample that you can do. So there's a couple of different things that you can do with that track. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and stopper singing here. So you can chop the sample up and you can use it a ton of different ways. That's going to give you your background. That's going to give you, other features that will just make your track pop. And so what you can do is you come over here to shift, and then let's go to sample edit first, which is actually 3 buttons down, from there. But the most important thing, I guess, really, stop, this right here. So a lot of times, what I'll always do is forget to save. I'll get into a track and then I'll be like, oh my gosh, I didn't save. Or, if you've done, so much work that you put into it and, you don't have, something and you just kind of, play around and then mess everything up, you've got nothing to go back to. So, what we're going to do right now is we're going to save. So, the save button up here brings you up to this page right here. So, I want to save project as. That takes you to your save folder. Now, you can see it's got, 3 up here that I mistakenly saved to the hard drive on the MPC. But we have an SD card. So, I want to go to that SD card and, I want to click on it. So then it saves directly to the SD card. So the last one that I did was 3-12. Now, why I'm doing these is because this is MPC 3.0. so that's what I figured. I was like, okay, well, each one of my beats I'm going to save, as to let me know that it's part of the 3.0. So 13. I don't give my tracks names right away. It's not until after I've built it and listened to it, then I hear kind of what vocals are playing and what it is, and then I'll name my track from there. So this will be the first version of this track, and so then you're going to save. It goes through its little process, and bam, you've got a save track. So now everything moving forward, you've got a save point. You can go back and you can reference this save point and then move on from there. So we were talking about chopping samples. So let's go ahead and get a little backbeat going again in here, because that was nice. So I'm going to go into the sample edit page, which is right below the save button. What that does is it brings up your sample. So that's going to be the vocal sample, what it is. So if you press shift, let's go to another cool thing too is in here in the timing you can change kind of gender, so it can go from a female vocal to a male vocal, or whatever, and that's a timing of 12. So let's see, so we're going to trim, so then you see where I press trim, and then it's got chop, pad, zoom, play cue, slice. So this one's manual chop. You can go into thresholds right here, and that's going to put it into thresholds. So it's going to be on 8 different pads or 7 pads right there. Or you can go on to regions. So that's going to fill all 16 pads. I like doing the all 16 pads just because it gives you some cool variations of what it is. So if you go shift and you go to convert, and then it says new drum track using slices. So what that means is it's going to create a new track, but it's going to lay out the sample in the timing and in the pads. So you'll see kind of what it does here. So create event, 8 bars, do it. Okay, so you can see the vocals already back again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go in here to the grid, and then bam, that is the sample in each one of it right there. So what that means is that you have got okay, so this brings up all different kinds of things that you can do. One, kind of easy little, thing that's kind of fun is you just go in every other one and you erase every other one. So bow, bow. If it works with me there. And then take out, well, I'm just going to leave those last two. So let's hear what that does. Okay, so you see how it's all broken up right there? And then so automatically it's already giving you a little bit of extra on what that sample is right there. So then what I like to do from there is figure out which one that sample's actually on and do. So we're going to go back over here to the volume page right here, and so it's this one right here. Okay, so then what I like to do in here is you can go to this effect button. So the effects buttons is going to pick up whatever effects that you want to put on it. So let's say you want to put a little bit of delay. So you go to air delay. So very cool, right? Okay, and then maybe you want just a little reverb on top of it. So what I did right there was I just pressed the air reverb, and that took me to the sample, to the initial. So then we're going to scroll through and figure out what sounds good for a reverb. Now, it doesn't always work out when you go into these, effects and you start playing around. Sometimes it makes it sound way worse, which it's no big deal, to get rid of one of these, once you put it on there, as well. So. Okay, so I'm not really liking any of those. So there's a trash can right there, so just bow, trash can. Okay, so that took off, that one, right there. Okay, so that one works, okay. But what, I like to do then is you can take that track that you've already got the samples with, you make another new track, bam. Okay, what that's going create a track that already has unmuted track. So I like that one. Yeah, that one's good. Any of those. Oh, well, yeah, those were off anyways. Okay, so maybe what we do is we kind of experiment a little bit and see how this turns out here. So overdub and chop, and let's go. It's okay to start when you want to start. Okay, so I'm okay with that. That's saying right there. Let's see how it sounds with the rest of it. Okay, very cool. So I think that'll be a good place to stop for this one. But I'm pretty pleased with how that starting to come together. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll continue with this track and see if we can't get it finished up here in the next 1-2 videos. All right.